Moneylife news and views. As we all know, Mr. Narendra Modi has come back with a huge majority just a few days ago to start his second term. Now, the moment he's becoming the Prime Minister all over again, there have been a lot of suggestions from business associations, from financial experts, from trade bodies, all sorts of people who have come forward to say what he should be doing in his second term. And the list is actually very long. This is simply because India has over the past 70 years accumulated a lot of problems, and Mr. Modi has been able to solve only a very tiny fraction of it actually. Fortunately or unfortunately, Mr. Modi does not need to hear any of this, or at least that's not his style. He is a man who decides what he wants to do and sticks to it, whether it's good or bad. So why are we discussing what he should be doing? Well, the simple reason is that we all want to optimize what is the best for the country. But while his political victories have been absolutely phenomenal in state after state, election after election, he's not been as great with his economic policies, and the outcome of the various things that he's done over the past 5 years has not really put India on a great fast track of productivity and huge growth, with the result that a large number of people still would continue to struggle below the poverty line, and it looks like a huge effort for the country to move to any sort of prosperity that we all expect him to deliver. Now, how does one do that? To fast track the dreams of millions, to put the country on a really economic fast track, what should he or what can he actually do? Now, there is an interesting theory that if you should be looking for just one thing, one major thing, which if you do, then a lot of other things that you were planning to do becomes unnecessary or irrelevant. And we should be searching for that one thing, and we should be doing it in different time frames, maybe on a day, on a week, on a month, and over a 5-year period. Now, that one thing, according to me, is capital allocation or productivity of capital. The idea is very simple. India is a capital-starved country, and so we should find ways to put that capital to work, whatever little we have, in places or in areas where we're getting the maximum amount of outcome, the best possible outcome. Remember, the capital that we have today, in fact, is a large amount of it is imported, which is the capital that is coming from foreign investments, either investing in manufacturing projects or companies, or coming through the stock market. So that's not even our capital, it's not something that we have generated. We are a highly indebted country, a domestic debt that is. Now, if we were to think of putting that capital to work productively, we have to see where is that capital going. It's going primarily in 3 areas. One is to run the government. The second is various government enterprises which are losing money, and that's where we're losing a lot of capital, and that's a lot of unproductive capital wasted. And third place where the capital is used is by the private sector. Broadly, this is a structure. There are all kinds of other smaller or tertiary types of organizations, but broadly these are the 3 places where the capital is actually going. Now, if you step back and think, the first 2 places, which is running the government, and second is loss-making public sector enterprises, both of these are very unproductive use of capital. They're sucking hundreds of billions of rupees, and this is why the government constantly needs more and more taxes. Whereas if you see the private sector, whether it's the small artisans or the farmers and small and medium enterprises, or even large companies, this is the whole thing that I'm talking about, is the private sector, where there is a private ownership of capital. People are getting up in the morning, they have a sense of accountability and duty to produce profits, they're employing people, so that's the ecosystem I'm talking about. That is the one which is using the capital most efficiently. Now, of course, you will jump up and say that there are all sorts of companies which are loss-making, that they're a drain on the system, they're losing money, they're bad loans, and this crony capitalism. Yes, all of that is there, and we do not want that. Now, there again, if you step back and think, a lot of that crony capitalism has come about because of the presence of bad lending by public sector enterprises. Again, they are government owned. So it's the government which is really the problem and not the solution. And the way to really accelerate our growth is to find ways to shrink the government, which is the first segment, reduce losses of public sector enterprises, which is the second segment, and release all of that money to create a very vibrant, competitive private sector, which is empowering people who are toiling to create profits and employ people. So that's the message I would like to leave you with. And if you see Mr. Modi moving towards this, you can be very sure that India is going to accelerate its growth towards prosperity. Thanks for watching.